There's a drive to deep left, way back, and gone! Jim Toby's first home run back as an Indian. There's a drive deep right field. Back is Frank Core, looking up. It is gone to Souvenir City, and the Indians take the lead.
Well, that could not have come at a better time.
From Progressive Field in downtown Cleveland, it's Indians baseball. Today, the Tribe goes for a 3-game sweep against the Kansas City Royals. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. As Asdrubal Cabrera, all season long, he has been the go-to guy for the Tribe, and once again last night, he delivered when they needed him most.
Well, without a doubt, the MVP this year for the Cleveland Indians, and Cabrera was going through a mini slump in his last 10 games prior to last night. He starts off with a single, and then he hits the big 3-run home run to give the Indians a lead. They were able to hold on, and Asdrubal, so solid for the Indians all year long. 3 for 5, the 3-run homer. 12 of his 21 home runs have given the Indians a lead. They were able to hold on, and hopefully he's got that little mini slump behind him.
Jim Thome also homering last night on his birthday for the Indians, but that's where the good news ends. More bad news on the injury front. Now Michael Brantley's season is officially over. He has a broken hamate bone. The good news is it's a pretty common procedure. He'll have surgery. He'll be fine, but he's out 6 weeks, which means his season is over.
Yeah, unfortunately for Michael, it is over, but hopefully everything will look up after the surgery. Jared Head is getting the call up from Columbus. He's put together some nice numbers, 24 homers, 70 RBIs. Nick Hagedorn will be sent back.
All right, let's take a look at today's pitching matchup. Justin Masterson gets the call for the Tribe today. And the pitching matchup brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today.
Bruce Chen, the left-hander for the Royals, matched up against the Indians. They beat him back on April 19th. He went 7 innings, 6 hits, and a couple earned runs. He always seems to pitch well against the Indians. But Justin Masterson has been the best pitcher for Cleveland this year. I mean, very solid out there. He usually gives them 2 runs or less, usually 6 or 7 innings. He's 2-0 against the Kansas City Royals this year. He's going to try and give them the opportunity to sweep the Royals this weekend.
All right, so we'll be back with play-by-play action from Progressive Field. It's all coming up next right here on Channel 3. An overcast day in downtown Cleveland, 73 degrees at game time as the Tribe tries to finish off a 3-game sweep of the Kansas City Royals here this afternoon. Justin Masterson on the hill for the Indians. And let's look at Ned Yost starting 9 for the Royals. Alex Gordon in the leadoff spot, followed by Melky Cabrera. Billy Butler batting third, then Eric Hosmer, Jeff Francoeur, and Mike Moustakas. Johnny Giavotella batting 7th, and Brian Pena and Alcides Escobar rounds it out.
For the 28th time this year, Justin Masterson makes the start. He is 10-7 and a brilliant .283 earned run average, 181 in the third innings, 136 strikeouts. just 49 walks. He is 2-0 this year against the Royals. He has made 3 starts against them. In his career, he is 3-2. But he's pitched very well against the Royals this year.
And we're underway as the first pitch sails high and away for ball 1. Fouls that pitch off, and the count evens at 1-1. Gordon has gone 3 for 8 in the series with a home run. And that home run was a big one last night. It put Kansas City ahead at the time, a 3-run shot, but the Indians were able to rally back and win it 8-7. The 1-1. Broken bat, flare, that's going to drop for a base hit. And the Royals get their leadoff man aboard, 4th hit in the series for Gordon.
Well, let's take a look at the Indians defense, brought to you by Pat O'Brien Chevrolet, saluting the men and women defending our country and watching on the Armed Forces Network. Jared Head, first major league start in left. Carrera in center, Fukudome in right. Hanahan at third, Cabrera at short. Donald is at second. Laporta is at first with Santana behind the dish.
Melky Cabrera steps in, shows bunt, takes. It's ball 1. Cabrera 2 for 8 in the series.
A second.
And that's low, 2-0. Now Masterson delivers. And it's ball 3. Melky Cabrera 4th in the American League in hits and 6th in total bases. Takes a strike. It's 3-1. He's also posted the 3rd best road batting average this year in the American League at .329. The 3-1 pitch. Fouled out of play. Full count.
Well, as Kansas City has done all series and as they've done all year, full count. I think we run around. They're going to start him here. See if they can make something happen first inning.
Runner goes. That's fouled back. Cabrera has struck out 79 times on the year. Just a light mist falling here at Progressive Field. Really wasn't any rain in the forecast, but clouds rolled in about an hour ago. Gordon back to the bag. Masterson. Payoff pitch. Gordon goes, and it's fouled again. Melky Cabrera 9 for 15 in his career against Justin Masterson. One more time the runner goes, and 3-2 is high for ball 4. So the first 2 reach for the Royals here in the first inning. Greg Gibson calling the balls and strikes this afternoon. Angel Hernandez at first, Todd Tishner at second, Mike Estabrook down at third. Billy Butler had 8 hits in his first 15 at-bats to start this road trip for Kansas City, but 0 for 7 so far in the series. Royals will go on to Detroit from here to finish up their road trip. And that's down and in from ball 1. Butler has driven in 37 runs since the All-Star break, and that's second in the majors to only Curtis Granderson of New York, who has 40.
Well, you would think that this guy gets an opportunity with the 2 guys hitting in front of him, the kind of years they're having.
In the air to center. Charging in. Carrera won't get there.
He broke back on the ball.
And the bases are loaded.
You know, I've really, when I've been watching Carrera play center field, when you play as deep as he plays, Matt, there's no way you can break back on a ball. You know, I can see where you can get fooled with a big swing. But when you're playing back, the first thing you do, you have to come in. You can't break back. And watch, I don't know if you can see it here. He's going back before he starts to come in. And another ball that's going to fall in front of him. Bases are loaded. And nobody out.
Well, Eric Hosmer steps in now. Bases loaded, nobody out. Big Royal slugger, a swing and a miss. He's 3 for 7 in the series with a home run. And it has at least seemed to us that when he swings the bat, he tends to barrel the ball up.
Good-looking young prospect, a rookie this year, and not only can he play offensively and swing the bat well, he's very good defensively as well. There's a look last night in the ball game in the 9th inning where he was so deep and he comes running in on the ball and he lets the ball get by him, and that was a no doubles defense. And here we go back in the 1st inning today. He breaks back on a ball and one falls in.
Hosmer shoots it foul the other way.
You know, people don't realize when you're a defender and you're playing the outfield, more balls are going to fall in front of you and beat you than get over your head. If they get over your head, then most of the time they're going to be home runs, and I look at them, that's a pitcher's fault. But balls that are hit in front of you, you've got to be able to catch some base hits and take them away.
2-strike pitch. Fouled back again. Boy, Hosmer does not get cheated. The American League Rookie of the Month for July. Batted .426 at an 11-game hitting streak. Fouls another pitch off, and it stays 0-2. Masterson again, the 2-strike pitch. In the air at left field over near the line. Jared Head, the rookie, makes the catch, and the runner holds. Gordon, good strong throw by Head. One hops the cutoff man, and the bases are still loaded. One away.
Yeah, you're not going to take a chance. Let's look at the sequence that Justin Masterson goes at Eric Hosmer with. He goes with a good two-seam fastball away, strike one, and he gets aggressive early. And then he fouls a couple of pitches off, but he didn't mess around. He went right at him with strike after strike after strike. Then he gets him to fly out with nobody out. You're not going to take a chance of sending your base runner. But that was very aggressive and good pitching by Masterson to go right at him.
Now Jeff Francoeur. Foul the other way. Hit on the ground to first. Laporta goes to second. Wide throw. Cabrera makes the out there by keeping his foot on the bag. But a run scores instead of it being an inning-ending double play.
I'll tell you what, Cabrera saves an error from Laporta right there. Coming off the bag and able to keep his foot on the base to get the force out. The Royals will get a run home. But this could have been a lot worse. This is a double play ball with a good throw. But you see, he's open. His footwork was not very good right there on the throw. Cabrera, he does have the foot on the base. That's a nice save by Asdrubal. That was not very good footwork by Matt Laporta, or they could have been out of the inning. They get one, see if Justin can end it here.
Mike Moustakas at the plate. He's had a good series, going 4 for 8 with a double. Popped in the air, foul, and that will go into the seats. Moustakas, as you see there, is hitting 10 straight. And in addition to that, multi-hit games in 5 straight. Runner at first takes off. Masterson's got him hung up. Cabrera running him back to first, takes a look home. Now he comes home with the throw, and that will end the inning. Nicely done by Asdrubal Cabrera. Great field awareness. He saw Cabrera take off, made a good throw to Santana to end the inning. Royals get a run, lead it 1-0. Indians coming to bat. Let's take a look at Manny Acta's starting lineup today. It's brought to you by Progressive Insurance, proud to be the official insurance provider of the Cleveland Indians. Ezekiel Carrera leading it off, followed by Jason Donald, and then Asdrubal Cabrera, Carlos Santana, Shelley Duncan, and Kosuke Fukudome. Matt Laporta, Jack Hanahan red hot here lately, and Jared Head making his debut, batting ninth.
And Bruce Chen making his 19th start. And he did spend a little time on the disabled list, but he has been very good since coming off. He's won his last 4 starts, pitched very well in the month of August. He is 1-0 against the Indians this year. He was 3-0 against them last year. So he has had a lot of success. Not an overpowering guy. Has to hit his spots and change speeds.
Ezekiel Carrera looks at a first pitch strike. And a bunt foul up the third baseline. It's 0-2. Rain picking up a little bit in intensity here.
Yeah, some of the people heading for cover.
Carrera slaps it foul the other way. Once again, the breeze for the third straight day blowing straight in from center and right center field. And Bruce Chen's 2-strike pitch. A little bit outside. The Indians have gone 10-4 this year against Kansas City. And the fact that they're behind early comes as no great surprise. On the year, at home, the Indians have been outscored by 50 runs in the first 5 innings. But they've outscored the opposition by 39 from the 6th inning on. Up the middle it goes. It gets by Giavotella, and aboard is Ezekiel Carrera to start the game with a base hit.
Take a look at the Kansas City Home Depot defense this afternoon behind Chen. It's Gordon, Cabrera, Francoeur in the outfield. Moustakas, Escobar, Giavotella, and Hosmer on the infield with Pena behind the plate. More savings, more doing. That's the power of Home Depot.
Jason Donald's going to go back for a little more. Stick 'em. It's the light rain falling here at Progressive Field. Bottom of the first. Donald 3 for 4 last night and scored a run. And a liner toward right field, dropping a base hit. And the Indians have back-to-back singles to start the bottom of the first. And Donald has 4 hits now in his last 2 games.
Well, it looks like it was off the end of the bat, and I mean, he hit a ball maybe off the plate. But the good approach gets it in front of Francoeur, so back come the Indians with their start to the bottom half of the first. Back-to-back singles.
As Drupal Cabrera, 3 for 9 in the series. And a big effort last night. All 3 of his hits coming in last night's game. And a line drive single in the left field. Ezekiel Carrera will stop at third, and the Indians have loaded the bases here in the first on 3 straight singles. One up the middle, one to right, one to left. They sprayed it around here in inning number 1.
Perfectly placed. All 3 of them. Come down that, looked like a little cutter that got in on the trademark, but Cabrera fights it off, gets it in the left field. So everybody moves up a base, and now the Indians have the bases loaded and nobody out.
And Carlos Santana, 2 for 7 in the series with a double. Hitting .285 on the year from the right side of the plate. Indians trying to come right back and do what they did last night, which was answer.
Well, that's something that other teams have been doing to the Indians, is responding after they go on the board. So it's awfully nice to see the offense for the Indians to come back and do the same thing and take that momentum away from them.
Royals manager Ned Yost said last night it was like we kept plugging fingers into the dike just hoping it wouldn't burst, but eventually it did.
Yes, it did.
Missed inside, 2-0. Manny Active feels like the Royals have a good bullpen, but the problem they've had this year is their starters have gone so many short outings. They've had to overuse that bullpen. He still feels like, the next couple of years they've got good young arms in their pen that will get better.
Well, that's what you say, young arms, and that takes a while for them to develop. And, you overexpose them coming out of that bullpen when the starters don't, take the pressure off.
When they're going 4 and 5 innings a lot of times.
And they're getting used 4 times a week, and, you have to throw a lot of pitches. That's true. Chen in trouble here.
3-0 pitch. Santana taking its ball 4, and we're tied at 1. A bases loaded walk, Santana's 63rd. Run batted in. 3 straight singles, and then the bases loaded walk, and the Indians have tied the game. And that's going to bring up Shelley Duncan. Jim Thome not in the lineup today. Maniac is saying they're going to follow pretty much the same approach that Jim had in Minnesota, which was can't play him in a day game following a night game. And, they'll try to limit him to 3 consecutive days. And a lot of it's just, it's that back. 41 years old, requires a lot of maintenance to keep him healthy and keep him in the lineup. Duncan pops it foul, snaps his bat, or tried to, over his knee. Hosmer almost overran it, makes the grab for out number 1.
Well, he gets after 4 straight pitches to Santana. He figure, all right, I'm going to get after that first pitch, and not a good idea. He pops it up, and you can see very upset with himself for doing so.
Going to bring up Kosuke Fukudome. Boy, just over anxious after he just walked the guy 4 straight. Fukudome 3 for 6 in the series. He's also walked a couple of times and scored 3 runs. And looks at a ball outside. Manny Acta said he really appreciates a guy like Fukudome because he can play right, he can play center, can bat him up and down on the lineup.
I liked him in the leadoff spot personally last night.
2-0. Pena keeps it there. Almost got away from him.
Well, we'll keep an eye on it because that's something that certainly did not happen in the first 2 games when they had Perez behind the plate. We saw him do a great job, but he's not catching after the night game, and you can see that one almost gets by him.
He just did get
in
enough
the first
of it.
inning. Yes, he did. He's had some issues back there behind the plate this year for Kansas City.
Fukudome trying to give the Indians the lead. Caught the outside corner. It's 2-1. Indians have already come back 5 times from a deficit in this series against Kansas City. 2-1 pitch. Missed outside.
And he's nibbling now, and he's falling behind again.
The 3-1 pitch. Swung on and missed a full count.
Took a little something
He
off
sure
there.
did.
Dead fastball count. Fukudome looking for the heater, and he got the change. Man, he was out in front of it. But why not? You take your chance. Bases loaded. You got 1 out. Chance to have a big inning here.
Little tapper back to Chen. Comes home for 1. Throw to first. Double play. Bases loaded. Nobody out. And the Indians managed just 1 run. But we are tied at 1 after 1 in Cleveland. McDonald's, the mango pineapple fruit smoothie has arrived. By your Northern Ohio Toyota dealers. And by AT&T. One ball game, 2nd inning. Mike Moustakas, Johnny Giavotella, and Brian Pena for the Royals. Low ball one. Moustakas 4 for 8 in the series with a double. He was at the plate in the first inning with runners at first and third. And when Francoeur took off for second, and Melky Cabrera was thrown out trying to come home from third. 1 down here in inning number 2. Let's check in with Katie Witham. She's got an update on the ailing Shin-Soo Choo.
Yeah, Matt, I spoke with Manny Acta earlier, and where they really saw the discomfort in Choo last night was during his second at-bat. They decided to pull him out to risk, losing him for the rest of the season. The good thing, though, about Choo's injury, he's left-handed. The injury is still that same one on his lower left side of his back, but it's not as big of a deal if it were on the right side because he does, obviously doesn't use as much when he's swinging. Now, the good thing is they believe that he will be back within about 2 to 3 days. They are shutting him completely down right now, though, guys.
All right, thanks, Katie. Grounded foul over towards the Indians' dugout.
Well, by the time he's ready to come back, then it'll be September 1st, and you can expand that roster to 40 guys.
In the meantime, Jared Head is the latest Indian to get the call up from AAA Columbus. He's in left field today. Michael Brantley, if you didn't hear, done for the season. He'll have surgery to repair a broken hamate bone. Which maybe it's not as common now as it was, seemed like 10 years ago. There were a lot of guys, almost a rash of guys that were constantly breaking that hamate bone. It's a bone in the hand that you can try to play through, and Brantley did. He tried to play through it for about 3 weeks, but it just became too much.
Yeah, it's a matter of living through how much pain you can stand. And I don't know if it's because bats are lighter now and guys are not holding them the same way, where a lot of guys used to be down on the knob in the center part of your hand.
Yeah.
And that's where it can happen to you.
Happened to Jim Thome, Kelly Gruber.
Yeah, I remember that.
Bobby Abreu. And a number of players have dealt with it. And it's the good news is it's an injury that can be easily fixed with surgery. The problem is you're shut down for 6 weeks, and at this point in the season, there won't be enough time. The 3-2. High and foul, right side, out of play. Thome, if I remember right, he suffered his injury right at the end of the '96 season when the Indians went in to play the Orioles in the postseason that year. He tried to play through it in that playoff series, but it was definitely very painful for him, and then eventually had the surgery in the offseason. Up and in. Spun him out of the way. But it's ball 4, and the Royals have a 1-out base runner here in inning number 2. Well, there's only one place to catch the Browns' final preseason game live, and that's Channel 3. Tune in Thursday at 8 p.m., and the Browns battle the Chicago Bears. Coverage begins with the pregame huddle at 7:30, and then it's Browns-Bears, 8 o'clock Thursday right here on Channel 3, your official Cleveland Browns station. Brian Pena takes a strike. Pena getting his first action in the series this weekend. Lined foul the other way.
Somebody made a play down there.
Young man with the glove.
He's got the weekend hat on as well.
2-strike pitch up high. Missing badly with a couple of these tosses. 2-2. One hop smash gets by Cabrera. And the Royals have 2 on with 1 out. And that'll bring up Alcides Escobar.
Well, he was down in the count, and then he worked his way back into it, and then a pitch elevated a little bit by Justin, but he stayed on it. And Pena can swing the bat now. He swings it very well. Gets it past Cabrera at short. That's the 3rd hit for the Royals, and they have runners on first and second with 1 out.
Escobar sends a high fly ball to right field. Fukudome makes the catch. 2 down. That's going to bring up Alex Gordon. Singleton scored the Royals' only run in the first. Good off-speed pitch to get ahead of Gordon. Now the 0-1. Another off-speed pitch and had him out in front. 0-2. Now this is a Royals team that, as you said, they seek the fastball. They look for it early in the count, and Gordon crossed up by Justin Masterson.
That's the difference between Justin and Fausto. Fausto goes at you with his two-seamer more so. Justin can come back at you with the slider if he wants. And when it's free and easy, he has nice break to it. First 2 pitches to Gordon, good sliders, has him down in the count 0-2, but he also had the 2 hitters on base down in the count 0-2.
And the 1-2. Back to even. Already his 45th pitch. Now back out of play. Two on, 2 out, 2-2 pitch. Outside, full count. Runners will take off with 2 down on this 3-2 pitch to Gordon. Nobody at second base, but Giovatelli almost took off too soon.
Well, he went for the first, the third, last inning, was able to get out of it. Why not try it?
Swing and a miss. He strikes him out. Masterson gets his first K, and he keeps the Royals off the board here in the second. Bottom of the second inning here at Progressive Field. Tied at 1. Bottom third of the Indians order due up. It'll be Matt Laporta, Jack Hanahan, and Jared Head. Laporta getting his first action in the series.
Well, he was able to minimize the damage back in the first inning. They had the bases loaded and already 1 run in. He got an easy pop-up and a 1-2-3 double play and got out of it. They couldn't add on.
Breaking ball for a strike.
And the one thing, Bruce Chen has pitched very well in the Central Division this year. He is 5-1 and a 2.6 ERA.
Seems to be a guy, too, Rick, that when he gets into trouble, he goes slower rather than harder.
Yeah, he does. You have to be patient, and that's something they weren't the last couple of times, last couple of hitters. He was struggling in the first, throwing strikes.
High fly ball, shallow center. Out goes Escobar. He's there. 1 away. Get a look at our trivia question today, brought to you by AT&T. The youngest pitcher to win the AL Cy Young Award. We'll have the answer coming up later in the game. Jack Hanahan, what a series he's having. 4 hits, 4 runs batted in. Out of play. Rookie Jared Head waiting for his first major league at bat on deck. Hanahan strikes out. There are 2 down. Let's go down to Katie Witham once again. She has more on the Indians rookie making his debut here today.
Well, Matt, Rick, you can expect to see Jared Head split some time with Shelley Duncan. Manny Acta told me earlier you're more than likely going to see Duncan a little more, especially when the Indians face a left-hander on the mound. But the one thing that he said that was interesting, you never know what you're going to get when you call a guy up. But for Jared Head, he's a little bit older, a little more experienced, and he thinks that will go a long way for him.
Jared Head grew up in Kansas, went to Washburn University. Hit .284 this year at AAA. And 6 homers in the month of August alone for the Clippers. Off the end of the bat. Gets by Chen. And Jared Head with an infield single in his major league debut.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing right there. I mean, to tell you, Chen was looking at that ball, looked like he was chasing it in slow motion. Beautifully placed, a smile on the face. That ball will be thrown out. Congratulations, first at bat. He takes care of it. That's great. Doesn't matter how, boy, that'll go into the case, and he'll tell his kids, his grandkids, boy, that was a line drive off the wall in left center field.
Smoked
about
it.
Another 30 years. Good for him. Right off the end, and once he got by Chen, he realized it.
So a 2-out base runner for Ezekiel Carrera. At times, Chen almost goes to a pure sidearm delivery. Shoots it foul the other way.
mean?
Talking with Indians team president Mark Shapiro before the game, who has obviously followed Jared Head's development. He said, I really admire him because he's one of those guys who wasn't highly touted. He was a non-drafted free agent signed by the Indians, 6 minor league seasons, but he's just kept his head down, nose to the grindstone, as they say, and has just really worked hard to develop himself. You know, he wasn't what they call a guy, so to speak, not on the radar, but, you know, he's worked himself into getting an opportunity now to play in the major leagues.
Well, he's at the major leagues. It's a dream come true, and in his first at-bat, he gets a base hit. Good for him.
Carrera takes, and a breaking ball call, a strike 2-2.
Well, the Indians were able to get 4 hits out of 8 at-bats against Chen in the first time through. Normally, teams hit just 190 against him that first time through, and it goes up to 320 the second time. We'll see how they handle it and see if Chen makes a change.
Tried to pinpoint that pitch on the outside corner and just a little bit outside. And so with a 3-2 count, Jared Head will get a head start. Hosmer drops behind him. Payoff pitch right back to Chen. Throws out Carrera, and that ends the second inning. We're still tied at 1 through 2. Back here, top of the third. Want to remind you to stay tuned later in the game to see our Miller taste greatness moment. Melky Cabrera, Billy Butler, and Eric Hosmer for Kansas City here in the third inning. No balls and 2 strikes.
Cabrera already with 547 at-bats and 588 plate appearances. That's being out there a lot, and you still have a month to go.
And Rick, there obviously is a lot of optimism in Kansas City that they'll re-sign Melky Cabrera at the end of the year and keep him in a Royals uniform. Well, and I say that because otherwise they would have probably been more willing to deal him around the trading deadline. But the fact that they didn't and weren't willing to necessarily just go out and trade him tells you that they want to keep him. And shatter the bat there. Laporta will take it himself. Kansas City really feels like with Cabrera and Francoeur, they're not as young, say, as a Alex Gordon, Hosmer and Moustakas, but they're still young enough that they fit in nicely with the young core group that they have there in Kansas City.
You need
they want to keep them together.
Absolutely. Rejuvenated his career this year and back in Kansas City. Left New York. He was overweight and dead in Atlanta. They got rid of him, so he revived himself.
Billy Butler, a base hit his first time up. Masterson finds the outside corner. Threw it by him. Good fastball. And it's 0-2. Be interesting to see in the offseason if Kansas City, goes after a veteran starting pitcher to try to help their rotation, because that's obviously where they need some addition. Line drive towards center. It's going to drop. Carrera cuts it off. And Butler is 2 for 2.
0-2 pitch right there by Justin. Let's check out the location on our Time Warner Cable pitch tracker. You see Santana really sitting up there, and right where they called for it, he hit it. He got on top of that high fastball. Not an easy thing to do as a hitter, but he hit the target where Santana was up and about, and Butler gets on top of it for the 4th hit. All singles for Kansas City, but that's a good job of hitting.
Eric Hosmer flares one toward left, breaking in his head. He'll play it on a bounce. And back-to-back singles here in the 3rd inning. Masterson gave up back-to-back-to-back base runners in the 1st, back-to-back base runners in the 2nd, and now back-to-back base runners here in the 3rd.
And he goes on and gets after him early. He slices it to left field and in front of Head. So there's one out, just looking for a ground ball to get that double play. Had the opportunity with Francoeur the last at-bat. They couldn't turn the double play because of a bad throw by Matt Laporta to Cabrera, who did a nice job to keep his foot on the base and get the force out.
A little bit low, and it's 1-1. Francoeur tried to wait back on it. Couldn't square it up, and now he's down on the count 1-2.
That slider started a little more inside than they normally do, and it stayed right there. Never really broke. And maybe it's a good thing it didn't.
Snap throw to first, and they didn't get him. It was very close. Hosmer somehow eluded the tag of Laporta. Looked like he started his slide back to the bag maybe a little bit too soon and almost didn't get there.
It almost looked like that. I know. I want to see if the tag was applied, because it didn't look like he got to the base. He never tagged him.
Yep.
Never tagged him. And when you're in on the run, as Laporta's coming in to get down, I mean, see, his momentum's carrying him that way. He was just hoping he slid right into the tag. He didn't do it.
2-2 chopped toward third. Hanahan gets one there. The relay not in time. 2 down, Royals at the corners.
It's not hit hard enough.
Let's pause right now for station identification. You're watching Cleveland Indians baseball. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning with you here today at Progressive Field. Tied at 1, 3rd inning. Royals 1st and 3rd with 2 down. Mike Moustakas looks at a ball outside. Grounded by Laporta into right field. Kansas City regains the lead. Butler scores.
Moustakas stays hot. That's a 11-game hitting streak for him, and he had 5 straight multi-hit games.
5th hit in the series.
So this kid remains hot. Kansas City retakes the lead 2-1 now with a 2-out single under the glove of first baseman Matt Laporta. So they have 3 hits in the inning, and Justin trying to end it right there.
Johnny Giavotella able to check on a pitch that was high. Walked his first time up. There's a high fly ball to right field. Fukudome is there. And that ends the 3rd. But Kansas City goes back in front 2-1. Bottom half of inning number 3. Jason Donald, Asdrubal Cabrera, and Carlos Santana for the Indians. Donald singled to right field his first time up. Looks at a strike. Alcides Escobar, the shortstop, throws him out, 1 away. Our great clip of the game from last night is Asdrubal Cabrera, 3 hits, none bigger than this one. In the 8th inning, a 3-run shot giving the Indians an 8-7 lead and ultimately sending them on to victory. Relax, you're at Great Clips. Career high 21 homers for the Indians shortstop. Trying to surprise him with a bunt. Our Ion 4 Powerade rankings. And one of the best.
Yeah, pretty impressive, isn't it? When you look at all the shortstops in the American League. And he has been there every single day for the most part. What, 2 games has he missed? He has had to grind it out. Where so many injuries have fallen, around him and players gone to the disabled list 1, 2, 3 times. He's been out there day in and day out. He's been the one constant that Manny Acta could count on. He's played out there with 4 or 5 different second basemen throughout the course of this year.
Yeah, that's another thing to consider right there.
I mean, a lot of people don't think of that. He's playing every day, but he's playing with about 5 different guys. Orlando, Cord Phelps, Jason Donald,
Jason
Kipnis.
Right back to the screen. Going right back at you.
No, we catch that one easy. Barehanded.
Again, it's fouled away. 2-2 the count for Cabrera. And he strikes him out. Second K for Chen. 2 down here in the third. Well, we're back on Channel 3 this Friday night at 8. Join us as the Tribe kicks off a weekend series in Kansas City. Royals Indians Friday night at 8, right here on Channel 3, your official Cleveland Indians station. Oakland comes to town tomorrow for a 4-game series, and then the Indians will hit the road for just 3 in KC, and then come back home, host the Tigers for 3. And then head out on a long road trip. No, that's outside. 2-0.
Yeah, when you think about it, one more weekend of baseball here in Cleveland, and that's it for the year.
Yeah.
Of the weekend, I say.
Well, and those 3 games will wrap up the home portion of the schedule. I think they're against Minnesota. Is that right?
That is correct. Chicago comes in with a doubleheader, then Minnesota with a doubleheader. It'll be a 4-game series, but. And then that's the last weekend here in Cleveland.
Santana takes a strike. It's 2-2. Wide of the mark, full count. Bruce Chen just over 50 pitches now in the game. Pop foul, out of play. You know, so often it's the case, first inning opportunities against a starting pitcher, that's when you really want to try to jump on them. The Indians had 3 straight singles to start the game, then a bases loaded walk, but then Chen was able to wriggle off the hook with a foul out and a double play ball.
And it happened quickly. They really had him on the ropes. They weren't patient.
Santana, solid line drive hit to left. Gordon, and that great arm, holds him to a long 2-out single. Well, Carlos Santana, his 3rd hit in the series.
Well, he gives him some swinging room here on a changeup, and Carlos just drilled that ball into left field. Hit it hard. That's 5 hits now for the Tribe, all singles.
Shelley Duncan steps in here. Duncan was up after Santana had walked and driven in a run on 4 pitches, and he went after that first pitch and popped it up foul and fouled out to first base in that first inning. 1-1 to count. Duncan has hit in 5 straight games, going 8 for his last 19 now. Now back out of play. And now he's down on the count 1-2. Santana, not a huge lead over there at first. Draws another throw. He's only 2 steps off the bag.
Now they're thinking maybe first movement they'll take off. That's why they want to double check.
In the dirt. It did not hit Shelley. Throw back to first, and Santana just does get back ahead of the tag of Hosmer.
Well, you see that ball. He did a nice job of picking it. He sees the ball in the dirt, so he took an extra step thinking he might want to get to second base. But Pena ended up catching the ball, landed in his chest protector, and he was lucky to get back. Normally that ball goes off of a catcher.
Strike 3 called. That ends the third. 2-1 Kansas City. Sprinkles early in the ball game, but the sun is trying to bust its way through the thick cloud cover here in downtown Cleveland as we go to the 4th inning with Kansas City on top 2-1. Brian Pena, the number 8 hitter, will lead off for the Royals. Justin Masterson, his 65th pitch of the game is bunted foul. One reason for the elevated pitch count today, it's not so much that he's thrown a lot of balls. He's 45 strikes against just 20 balls, but 17 fouls by the Royals, and 9 of those came with 2 strikes to keep at bats alive. Good breaking ball in for a strike, and Santana just whiffed on it.
Holy smokes, that one's called a strike, and he just barely tipped it. Let's see. I mean, there it is sitting away. It's not the glove.
He's looking, is there a hole in that thing? Missed up and in. 2-2. And this has been another thing for him. He's had a lot of guys 0-2. And
yes,
then
he has.
The next thing you know, they're right back to even in the count.
Well, when this guy pitches ahead the count 0-2, 1-2, he's, I mean, as a hitter, boy, he's got you on the defense. You know, he gave up an 0-2 base hit, but that's going to happen. And guys followed off just to stay alive.
Center field, Carrera. One down. Check in once again today with Katie Witham.
Well, Matt, the Tribe trying to make a push for the playoffs, and right now the Indians have a great deal for their fans with the playoff payoff program. All you have to do is make a deposit towards 2012 season tickets, and you are guaranteed the opportunity to get tickets to any postseason game played right here at Progressive Field. Check out Indians.com for all the information now, guys.
Alcides Escobar flied to right his first time up. And Masterson misses inside for ball one. Tigers Twins underway in Minneapolis. Detroit winning the first two there against the Twins. 1-1 pitch. Two and two the count on Escobar, who is 0 for 4 in the series. He has put down a couple of sacrifice bunts for Ned Yost. High chopper. Hanahan charging. Left to throw in a hurry. He does. And he didn't get him, says Hernandez. Very close play at first. And he is called safe, although, man, it appeared
looked
that
like he wanted to call him out, didn't it? It looked like the right arm was cocked to call him out, and it was bang, bang. I mean, it was tough to tell. Hanahan did a beautiful job of getting to it and getting rid of it quickly. You can't get rid of it any quicker. And that's bang, bang. And from that angle, he looked out to me.
Yep.
You know, you're talking about not even a half a step. Didn't look like his foot was quite on the bag. But, I mean, that was awfully close.
It was close, but he was out. 1-0 the count to Alex Gordon, who singled and scored in the first. High fly ball, foul, and that'll get pushed into the seats. That hit for Escobar, snapping an 0 for 21 streak. So I guess if you look at it from Escobar's perspective, it was a great call by Hernandez when you're 0 for 21. And Gordon has a 2-1 count. Escobar does have 19 stolen bases on the year. Gordon with a line drive base hit into right field. Fukudome fields it quickly, and Escobar won't test him.
Well, again, now they have had at least two guys on base in every inning against Justin.
Well, they've had back-to-back base runners in every single inning.
And this another base hit. Tough to keep this lineup down. That one right there, good pitch to hit, and he certainly puts it in play. But when you look at Masterson this year, I mean, his numbers have been great all year, no matter what you look at him. But in day starts, this is going to be his 10th start. He's 1-4 in the day. Not that it makes any difference. A 3.62 ERA. I don't know what it is, but He's had a ton of base runners. They have 8 hits already. This is only the 4th inning. All of them have been singles.
The 1-1. Gets ahead of Cabrera. Royals got a run on the first, but Cabrera was thrown out at home plate to end that inning. This is skied on the first base side and into the seats. Happy birthday wishes going out today to Wanda Soul in Bellevue, Ohio, celebrating her 85th birthday. And also happy birthday to Mike Pica in Chesterland. Now the 1-2. Bounce toward first. It's by Laporta. Coming around third. They're going to hold Escobar right there. Fukudome with a perfect throw to the plate. But the bases are loaded again here for Kansas City. They had them loaded in the first inning. But like the Indians, they managed just 1 run.
Well, another base hit that finds a hole. And let's see the jump. Escobar gets off. Fukudome wasn't playing really deep, so he got to it in a hurry. And as a third base coach, you have to anticipate a perfect throw when that guy in the outfield gets to it early. So there's a number of blue jerseys out there with 1 out.
Not exactly the guy you want to see at the plate either. He's 2 for 2 today with a run scored.
Well, Justin looking for an atta-ball on the ground to get out of the inning.
Butler has hit into 13 double plays. Second most on the Royals club. He doesn't hit many dribblers. So usually if he hits it, it's hard, and that's why he will hit into some double plays. Good pitch by Masterson. He's ahead in the count 0-2. This will already be the 87th pitch of the day, though, for Justin. Trying to keep the Royals from blowing it open here. They lead 2-1. And the 0-2 offering is fouled out of play.
That's 3 straight sliders here to Butler. And another 0-2 count. But Kansas City has 2 hits today on 0-2 counts.
A little bit low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Right back to Masterson. Comes home for 1. Santana's throw to first. Double play ends the inning. A second 1-2-3 double play in this game. Each team has hit into one, and that one keeps it a 2-1 ball game. inning. Kosuke Fukudome, Matt Laporta, and Jack Hanahan due up for the Indians. Fukudome hit into an inning-ending double play in the first inning, just as Billy Butler just did, a 1-2-3 twin killer that ended a bases-loaded situation for the Tribe. Pitch is down low. And a strike called there. It's 3-1. In the air, left field. Back goes Gordon. He'll make the catch. One away. Minor league report brought to you by Kia. Jared Gettert in a win last night for the Clippers went 3 for 4 with a couple of doubles and 3 driven in. Hitting .342 in his last 10 games with 4 home runs. Matt Laporta popped up to the shortstop, his first time up today. Looks at a ball down low. Laporta foul tips it. And the count 1-1. Two and 1 to count. Line drive to left. Gordon again playing pretty deep. Front edge of the track, 2 away. Jack Hanahan struck out his first time up. And Bruce Chen with a slow curve called a strike. Fastball away, nails the outside part of the plate. 1-2 the count.
Well, you mentioned it. That's one thing he will do out there is drop down and give you a few different arm angles. You know, and if you're a left-handed hitter, that can change the look, the approach. Oh, that was right back at you.
And you know, when you don't see it in slow motion, you get a little better appreciation for just how quickly that ball gets on you.
I mean, they've been chasing Carey all day long. Up, down, in, and out.
Two down here in the fourth. And he strikes out Hanahan, retires the side in order for the first time today. And through 4, it's 2-1 Kansas City. with the lead. Justin Masterson, he hasn't had it today. But, and this is the mark of a guy who is having a special year. He's made 89 pitches. He's had to battle every single inning, and yet he's still kept you in the ball game to this point.
Yeah, I mean, he's had times where he's bent, but he hasn't broken.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets this one. This is to end the inning. Bases loaded, one out, and a tough hitter at the plate. Billy Butler comes in. He got that breaking ball in on his hands. He gets it back to him, a 1-2-3 double play. He gets out of the inning. I mean, that was a big opportunity for Kansas City because they had a chance to open it up. It's a 2-1 ball game. So, no, what does he do? He does his job, keeps his team right back into it. And 2 has been the magic number for him this year as far as earned runs go. 20 times out of his 27 starts to this point has been 2 runs or less. Earned runs.
Eric Hosmer will lead off 1 for 2 with a base hit. Good pitch that time, and it's 1-2. Hammered foul. That got into the seats, and I mean in a hurry. Holy mackerel. And a lot of concerned folks, including Eric Hosmer, as he looked into the seats. He saw where that ball went. And they're calling for some help immediately to get down to that fan where that ball went into the seats. So the players on the field obviously saw it, and they're a little taken aback. So everybody's just kind of going to pause for a moment. Those seats that are right behind the dugout and right at the end of the dugout, and we've talked about this before, but if you're not watching the action, if you turn your head for a moment when a pitch is made, you can be in harm's way in a hurry.
Well, it's just a matter how many times we see him go in there and people are able to get out of the way. I'm surprised this doesn't happen more. But boy, oh boy, a scary situation when it does.
You can see the concern on Eric Hosmer's face. Every hitter, when they foul a ball, if they follow the ball all the way into the seats, they're always aware of what happens. Back to action. Hosmer takes strike 3 called. His mind might have been elsewhere on that pitch. Second strikeout for Masterson, 1 down here in the 5th. Jeff Francoeur swing and a miss. Got the Royals' first RBI in the first inning when they had that bases loaded situation. Came on a fielder's choice, and then he bounced into another fielder's choice in the 3rd.
I want to send along some birthday wishes. Winnie Chubbuck of Aurora is 94 years old today. Ethan Tyler Barr of West Salem is 7. And Steve Kostrobanic, 78. Happy birthday.
Fouled right back off the mask of home plate umpire Greg Gibson. And he wears that hockey style mask, and the guys all say that's a good mask because it deflects the ball more than it absorbs it usually, and there's the case right there. You can see it just glance off.
Yeah, how many times you see the mask that Santana's wearing? Have we seen that mask knocked off umpires and catchers?
Got him looking at a good slider. Third strikeout for Justin, and back-to-back Ks here in the fifth. He has just reached the 100 pitch mark with that punch out of Francoeur.
Well, it locks him up again. That's that breaking ball that he was able to get the double play ball on Butler. He locks up Francoeur. So he's looking for his first 1-2-3 inning.
Fouled back out of play. Mike Moustakas with an RBI hit his last time up, grounds weakly to Jason Donald. And for the first time today, Justin Masterson retires the side 1-2-3. We go to the last half of the fifth inning here at Progressive Field. It's the Royals 2 and the Indians 1. One lead. Indians will try to do what they've done in the first two games, and that is come from behind to beat the Royals and finish off this three-game sweep. The Indians have won 10 out of 14 this year against Kansas City. The Royals scored in the top of the first. Indians tied it in the bottom of the first, and then Kansas City with a run in the third regained the lead. Now here, and as we go to the bottom of the fifth, the Indians will have Jared Head, Ezekiel Carrera, and Jason Donald coming to the plate. Jared Head making his major league debut. Little squibber off the end of the bat, but hustling. Ball got by Chen, and he beats it out for his first major league hit in his first big league at bat.
Yeah, and there goes the ball as a souvenir. It'll be sitting in his locker when the game is over, and takes a little bit of pressure on you. It doesn't mount. You get that first big league hit out of the way, it certainly helps.
Last year, Jared Head hit 17 home runs between AA Akron and AAA Columbus, and that was tied for third among all Indians minor leaguers. Non-drafted free agent. Grew up in Topeka, Kansas, and then went to college at Washburn University. And as we mentioned earlier, has really worked his way through the minor league system. And with the injuries, getting his opportunity to play in the big leagues now. Right-handed hitter, it's out of an open stance. Blooped foul. Hosmer makes the grab. One down here in the fifth. Scoreboard update brought to you by your Northern Ohio Ford dealers and the all-new 2012 Ford Focus. Ford, drive one. Carrera singled and scored the Indians' only run back in the first. Takes a strike here. It's 2-1. Missed outside, 3 balls and a strike. Ball 4. So the Indians get a 1-out base runner. That snaps a string of 5 in a row, retired by Bruce Chen. and brings up Jason Donald.
Chen had a little backwards today compared to how his season numbers really shake down. That first time through, as I told you earlier, normally teams hit about a 190 against him, but the Indians were 4 for 8, and then it goes up to 320 the second time and through. Well, the Indians just 1 for 9, so the exact opposite of how it normally was for him. He settled in and got tougher. They had him on the ropes earlier, and they just couldn't do any more damage in getting that first run home, coming on a bases loaded walk. Got him.
Go to first. Hosmer down to second, and Carrera erased. 2 down. And Ezekiel Carrera caught stealing for the 4th time this year.
Well, going on first movement with the left-hander out there, and they guess wrong. That comes from the manager, really. Manager says, okay, go ahead, you can go on first movement. Well, they guessed wrong. He came over there. But at least I'm thinking it was first movement. Could have been just a straight steal.
In the dirt. Fouled back out of play. Weekly tap to short. Escobar on the run, throws him out. We'll go to the 6th. It's still 2-1 Kansas City. The Subway Extreme Fan Zone. It's the place to be for a chance to win Subway gift cards, Indians fun money, and you'll get great discounts on your next Subway purchase. Subway, where winners eat. Left-hander Rafael Perez up in the Tribe pen. Masterson Over 100 pitches, delivers, and Johnny Giavitello fouls it out of play. Line to right, Fukudome puts it away. Game recap brought to you by your Northern Ohio Toyota dealers. A Frank Coor fielder's choice gave the Royals the lead. A bases-loaded walk for Santana tied the game. And then Mike Moustakas put Kansas City back on top with a RBI single. Find out about more than 30 Toyota offers available now at buyatoyota.com. Brian Pena lines one to left field. And making the backhanded catch is Jared Head. Nice play in left field as he came in charging hard for out number 2.
Well, when you come in, that ball's going to sink off the left-handed bat. It's going to go down into the ground. He continued to run, makes a nice backhanded catch. That'll be out number 2. They only got 1 clap from the starter. Usually when you make a great play for Justin, it's about 3.
Well, he's retired 6 in a row. Going back to that bases loaded double play ball off the bat of Billy Butler.
Yeah, very possibly his last hitter. One way or the other.
Two and 1 to count. Fouled back, and it's 2 and 2. Full count. Payoff pitch. Fouled back out of play. Fly ball, left field. Jared Head, routine play this time. And another 1-2-3 inning for Justin Masterson. Well, he wobbled through the first 4, but he finishes strong with 2 perfect innings through the 5th and 6th. Masterson getting some high fives in the dugout from teammates who certainly have appreciated his gutsy effort here today. He's kept them right in it. And offensively, the Indians trying to solve Bruce Chen. Cabrera, Santana, Duncan here in the 6th. As Dribble with a fly ball to left. Back goes Gordon. And he runs it down. 1 away. Our Miller Tastes Greatness moment. 1 year ago today. As Dribble Cabrera with a walk-off winner against Kansas City.
Well, it wasn't a walk-off winner last night in the 9th, but it certainly was the 8th because they were able to hold it. So almost a year to the date. Cabrera, big home runs against Kansas City. When you look at the swings, I mean, you talk about similar, same thing. Got the necklace on this year. He didn't have it on last year. That's about the only difference.
Almost dead on identical.
No kidding. Isn't that the truth?
I think we looked at it was Joel Peralta who gave up the home run last year.
Who's down with the Tampa this year, right?
Is that
down with the Rays.
Yeah. Bruce Chen, 2-strike pitch. Santana skies it in the air on the infield, backing up the shortstop Escobar, calling everybody off, and then Gordon says, "I'll take it." He does, 2 down. Let's go back to the studios right now for an in-game update with Dave Chudowski.
Matt, thanks. An important one in Minnesota, Detroit, and the Twins. Twins were up 2-0, but top of 2, Ramon Santiago with the single to left. That scores a pair. And right now in the 3rd, this game is tied at 2. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Dave. Here is Shelley Duncan, 0 for 2 on the day. Bruce Chen about to make his 90th pitch of the afternoon. Fly ball left field. Gordon again is back. Makes the catch on the track. 3 fly ball outs to Alex Gordon. Ends the 6th. 2-1 Kansas City.
be here for 4 games. You can get your tickets online right now, and while you're there, check out those all-you-can-eat seats. It's a great deal. You'll get a good seat to the game, and you can get unlimited hot dogs, nachos, peanuts, popcorn, and Pepsi products, all for just $32. Making me kind of hungry right now. Matt, Rick, back up to you guys.
Katie, there are plenty of concession stands you can run to. Or you can come up here in the booth.
Always food
always
up
have
here.
food up here.
Always food up here.
Call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon 4G LTE. Rule the air on the most advanced 4G network in the world. And Rafael Perez coming on in relief of Justin Masterson. 61st appearance for the left-hander. 2.50 ERA. He'll be facing the top of the order. Justin Masterson went 6 innings, 113 pitches, but he allowed just 2 runs, walked 2, struck out 3 on 9 hits. Alex Gordon 2 for 3, couple of singles. Grounded toward second. Donald from the outfield grass. 1 away. Let's pause once again for station identification. You're watching Cleveland Indians baseball. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning with you here at Progressive Field, where the Indians trail the Royals 2-1. Melky Cabrera looks at a strike. He singled his last time up. Goes right at him again, 0-2. Rick foul down into the seats again. And the 2-strike pitch in the air, right field. Back goes Fukudome. 2 down. Tonight at 9, tune in to STO for Jimmy Hamlin in the Golf Zone. He'll wrap up the weekend's golf tournaments and take your calls and emails about your game. The Golf Zone with Jimmy, tonight at 9 only on STO. Billy Butler, 2 for 3. He singled in each of his first 2 at-bats. Then he came up with the bases loaded and 1 out in the 4th inning and hit a comebacker to Masterson that turned into an inning-ending double play. 2
of the biggest outs. It turned it around because after that point, nobody reached base off Justin. He's turned it over to the bullpen, but that was the biggest out of the game right there.
9 Royals have been retired in a row. That's the first pitch Perez has thrown that wasn't a strike. Right-hander Joe Smith up now. The 1-1. lined into center field. A base hit for Butler, his third on the day.
Well, he hit another ball hard, so the only time they got him out today was the big one, the double play ball, but he goes right back up the middle on a ball down. Good swing, good stroke. That's hit number 10 now for Kansas City. Every hit has been a single. Actually, in this whole ball game, 15 hits by both teams. The Indians have 10. They've all been singles.
Eric Hosmer, 1 for 3 today, 4 for 10 in the series. Hosmer's last time up, he fouled a pitch into the seats just beyond the Indians' dugout, and it struck a fan, and he was visibly shaken. And then was called out on a third strike on the next pitch, but that was after a good 2-3 minute delay. One pitch. Bounce to first. Laporta with a nice snag. He'll go to the bag himself. And the Royals go 1-2-3. Time now for the Cleveland Clinic 7th inning stretch. Indians fans, time to get up and let's move it. Levin Furniture, home of Sealy's Posturepedic mattress, made in Northeast Ohio. And by your Northern Ohio Hyundai dealers. It's time to join the Hyundai movement. Two-1 Royals as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. And a reminder, like Panini's franchise group on Facebook for your chance to win giveaways and prizes. Kosuke Fukudome, Matt Laporta, and Jack Hanahan for the Indians. Bruce Chen just over 90 pitches on the afternoon. Three fly ball outs to left field in the 6th.
Chen, in his only other start against the Indians this year, back on April 19th, went 7 innings as well. Gave up 6 hits and 2 runs. Today it's been 5 hits and 1 run, and they really had their opportunity back in the 1st.
Well, they started the game with 3 straight hits. Since then, they're 2 for 18 against the left-hander.
Yeah, you talk about settling in.
Fukudome bangs it to first. Hosmer the long flip. 1 away. Back to the AT&T trivia question, looking for the youngest American League Cy Young Award winner. My initial thought was with Brett Saberhagen, maybe?
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good call.
21 years old back in 1985 for the Royals.
What a very good pitcher he was.
Matt Laporta 0 for 2. One ball, one strike. Chen, the left-hander, deals. And Laporta bangs it towards short. Escobar. Nice long stretch by Hosmer to pull in the throw for out number 2.
Well, you can register for a chance to purchase tickets for the all potential playoff games here at Progressive Field. You log on to Indians.com/postseason for your opportunity to purchase single game tickets for the postseason. Winners will be notified by email on September 13th, so visit Indians.com for more info.
Jack Hanahan looks at the ball outside. Lines it toward left. Gordon makes the grab. The Indians go 1-2-3 again. We go to the 8th. 2-1 Kansas City.
the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
Well, it remains 2-1 Kansas City. And now in the 8th inning, Joe Smith coming on for the Tribe after Rafael Perez worked a scoreless 7th inning. Smith will be facing Jeff Francoeur, Mike Moustakas, and Johnny Giavotella for Kansas City. Foul deep down the left side. Broken bat roller to third. Jack Hanahan. Perfect throw. One away here in the 8th inning. In-game box score brought to you by your Northern Ohio Hyundai dealers, introducing the Hyundai Assurance Trade-In Value Guarantee. Now, just hasn't been a whole lot going on in this game. Billy Butler does have 3 hits for Kansas City. He has scored the difference-making run. That came back in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, whatever it was all early. But the Indians entering the big inning that they like here in this ballpark, the 8th.
Big bouncer towards second. 2 down in the 8th inning. That'll bring up Johnny Giavotella. Royals have out-hit the Indians 10-5, and that again just goes back to the job Justin Masterson did of minimizing the damage, and that's a phrase that's thrown around a lot in pitching. It's so very true. That's the goal, but it's so very difficult when you don't have your A game and your best stuff, and you're just out there searching.
And you still only give up 2 runs.
Fantastic job. Cabrera throws out Giavotella, and Joe Smith works a 1-2-3 8th. Still 2-1 Kansas City. Back here at Progressive Field, it's a 2-1 Royals lead. Chris Getz has come on now defensively for Kansas City.
Yep, for the third straight game coming in. So that's the only change for Kansas City. Back out on the mound, Bruce Chen. They have their bullpen up and going now.
And a strike called over the outside edge to Jared Head. Infield single in the second. He fouled out his last time up. And a 1-1 pitch line to right field. Frank Core breaking back, reaches up, drops the ball. Had a big turn. He'll scamper back to first, and he's aboard to start the bottom of the 8th inning. Remember, there was a series here earlier this year, late in the day game. Frank Core had trouble going back on a ball, looking up into the sun on the warning track. This time, he had leather on it, but just couldn't pull it in.
Well, he had the glasses down, so he goes back. And, I mean, it's in his glove. He just didn't catch it cleanly. He closed his glove a little too quickly, and the ball bounces out. That's a ball he should be in the glove for out number 1, but the Indians get a start to an inning. That's going to go as an error.
And the Indians, with that leadoff man aboard, bring Ezekiel Carrera to the plate. He squares, bunts it very hard. Hosmer's going to go to second to get the force. Not a good job of sacrificing by Carrera. He ended up barreling that ball up on the drag bunt. Boy, oh boy.
Well, again, a sacrifice situation, and he just tries to take it with him. And he does. He bunts it really hard, and Hosmer, an easy play for him, being the left-handed first baseman, goes to second base, gets the lead runner, and now out comes Ned Yost to make a pitching change.
So Bruce Chen goes 7 1/3 innings here today. He'll leave with the tying run at first base in the 8th inning. We've got a timeout here at Progressive Field with the Tribe trailing it 2-1. Ours, both individuals and families who have been touched by cancer. Every time the Indians homer, Rick and I are each donating $5 to the Gathering Place, and Great Clips donating $50. Our total so far this year, over $7,000. For more information, visit touchedbycancer.org. Great needs, great deeds, Great Clips. Look who's coming to the plate. Jim Thome will pinch hit with 1 on and 1 out here in the last half of the 8th inning. Greg Holland delivers. And a fastball in the outside corner. Last night, Tomey homering on his birthday.
I got a pitch down out over the plate. Rocketed it to left field. First homer as an Indian in a long time.
Tried to turn on that pitch that was downstairs. It's 0-2. Holland has really settled in that setup role. 1.85 ERA. And he strikes out Tomey for out number 2.
Well, he didn't mess around, did he? He came out in 3 straight strikes. He elevated the fastball here. 0-2, 97 miles per hour, and Jimmy swings through it.
And now is Drupal Cabrera. Can he be the hero for the second game in a row in the 8th inning? Yesterday it was a 3-run homer in the 8th with 2 outs. Holland has come out throwing strikes. One on one to count. Just missed. 2 balls and a strike. Cabrera with a base hit his first time up. 4 hits now in the series. And he fouls it off to even the count. Cabrera has good speed at first base, and with 2 down, he'll be running on any ball put in play. But also remember, this Royals outfield, they have tremendous arms. The 2-2. Down the right field line, but he pulls it foul. And Bruce Chen going to go out and talk to Holland.
Well, it's the pitch he hit for a home run last night, a breaking ball. They're doing him a favor when they throw him a breaking ball.
He said last night after the game he was looking for a slider. He got it last night, and he didn't miss it.
No, he did not. I mean, he's been fouling off a lot of fastballs. This guy's throwing 97, but he did him a favor right there, throwing him the breaking ball.
The 2-2 in the dirt, and a good scoop by Pena. With a guy like Holland, you can't go up there looking for anything other. You've got to look for his fastball when it's at 96, 97 miles an hour. Which is why he was so far out in front on that off-speed pitch. Carlos Santana would be next. Carrera takes off on a 3-2 pitch. It's popped in the air. Left field. Gordon, a routine play. He'll make the catch. And the inning is over. So we'll go to the 9th. It's 2-1 Kansas City. 2-1. And they'll turn it now to Vinny Pistano after Rafael Perez and Joe Smith each work a scoreless inning of relief. Trying to keep it a 2-1 ball game and give the Indians one last chance to rally in the bottom of the ninth. Cord Phelps has taken over at second base after Jason Donald was pinch hit for. Pistano will be facing Brian Pena, Alcides Escobar, and Alex Gordon. Royals closer Joaquim Soria loosening in the KC pen. Pena 1 for 3. He singled back in the second inning. Flied out in each of his last two at bats. The 1-1. Up and in, and that got away from Santana. Minnesota beating Detroit 6-2. They're in the fourth inning in Minneapolis. 3-1 the count on Pena. Bright sunshine now here in downtown Cleveland. We had a lot of clouds early and some drizzle at the outset of the ball game. Out of play, full count. It's actually turned out to be a beautiful afternoon. And the payoff pitch popped up. This should be playable. Jack Hanahan into foul ground. One down.
Well, let's take a look at Justin Masterson coming through. This is going to be our McDonald's I'm Loving It, where he battled this afternoon. Had a lot of base runners in the first 4 innings, and after he got the big double play, he settled in. But the big man, again, for the 21st time, 2 earned runs or less out of his 28 starts. That's something special. But again, the offense can't do anything for him. It's been amazing. He could have some different numbers this year. He has 10 wins, but the way he has pitched, he certainly could have a lot more.
1-1 to Alcides Escobar. And an infield hit back in the fourth inning. 1 for 6 in the series. Manny Pistano just reared back and threw it by him. 1-2. Just missed with that. 2-2. Indians, I mentioned earlier, will play the Oakland A's starting tomorrow. 4-game series. Oakland's already in town. Line drive base hit for Escobar. It's a little unusual because normally, teams have games on Sundays and then they travel. But because of the hurricane, they played a doubleheader yesterday in Boston.
Right.
And so the A's got here at about 4 o'clock this morning. We saw Ray Fosse over here at the ballpark, a longtime A's broadcaster and former Indians catcher.
Well, I mean, they had to do that before the hurricane hit, and they were fortunate enough to get him in.
They got him in.
They don't have to go back, and I'm sure they're thanking their lucky stars being from Oakland. How do you make that game up in Boston? Unlike the Yankees in Baltimore, they were rained out. The Mets called theirs, and a lot of games postponed because of the storm.
Gordon rips it down the right field line, but foul. Vinny Pistano sets and fires over to first. Way up high. The Yankees and Orioles are playing a day-night doubleheader today, and then another game tomorrow to wrap up their series. And a liner just beyond the reach of Asdrubal Cabrera. So back-to-back singles, and now here come the Royals in the ninth inning, threatening.
Boy, he muscles that one, gets down and in, and he's just a good hitter. He tried to get him to go after the breaking ball, didn't do it, and fights that fastball off over the head. They now have 12 hits, but still only 2 runs on the board. That's important. And Pistano's going to have to go through the big part of this lineup to retire him.
Now Melky Cabrera, 1 for 3 today. Steps in with 2 on and 1 out in the ninth. And a strike is called. Yeah, that Yankees-Orioles series is interesting. So they're playing a day-night doubleheader tomorrow. They have another game tomorrow, and yet there's another game in that series that didn't get played that will have to be made up on the Yankees' final off day of the season, and it comes right before they make a West Coast trip. Ground ball to third. Hanahan goes to second for 1. The relay is not in time. And so the Royals have runners at the corners with 2 down. It's funny, the Yankees were doing a lot of public complaining about the fact that the Orioles wouldn't move yesterday's doubleheader around or move one of the games so that they wouldn't have to have that makeup game played on an off day. And it's like that falls on deaf ears because everybody has makeup games and issues. I mean, the Indians are going to play 2 doubleheaders in a week in the month of September.
And they're playing a single game on an off day with Seattle.
Yeah.
Well, there's always, I mean, out of 162 games, there's no perfect schedules. I mean, throughout the course of rainouts, you have to do what you have to do, period.
Popped him up. Laporta near the dugout calling for it. Makes the catch. And that'll end the inning. So, Pistano gets out of trouble, and we go to the bottom of the ninth. Tribe down 2-1. Well, bottom of the ninth inning, and Joakim Soria coming on for Kansas City. Joakim Soria, 55th appearance of the year, 23 out of 30.
That's a bad year for him.
Yes, it is.
You know, he had
Remember
one
he
point
had
where
some
he was
problems
really
early in the
struggling.
year.
Yes, he did. He had some issues where he really struggled early. This guy used to be just automatic. I mean, you talk for about the last 2 or 3 years prior to this year, he was like Rivera. When he went out there, every opportunity, it seemed like the door was slammed. But, I mean, he's human like any closer. But usually to get that leadoff man aboard to put a little pressure on. The Indians have not had a hit since the third inning, and that was Santana, 2-out single.
Pitch is outside. It's 2-0. You know, you're talking to Chris Perez before the ball game, the Indians closer, about the ups and downs of being a closer, and he said he remembered when he was with St. Louis, he pitched really poorly in a game and blew a game. And he said the next day was shagging in the outfield during batting practice, and Tony La Russa, the Cardinals manager, walked up to him. And he asked him if he was still thinking about what had happened the night before. And he said, "No, I moved on. I put it behind me. I moved on." And Tony said to Chris, Dennis Eckersley never put it behind him. He thought about it. He used that to motivate him and drive him the next time he took the mound, and then walked away and left him. Santana breaks his bat and rolls it to first. One away. And Chris said, you know, I thought I was just telling the manager what he wanted to hear. But he said when he walked away, I thought about it, and you know, he's right. You don't really put it away. You don't forget about it. It gnaws at you. It eats at you until you get a chance to go out there and pitch the next time, and then you can put it away.
Well, if you're successful. The only time it happens, it gnaws at you until you're successful again, and that's just the nature of the business. You know, you're out there in a high-pressure situation where, you know, the game is going to revolve on the 3 outs that you get, the last 3 outs, and everything is magnified. And when you get it, everything is great. When you don't, the world comes crashing. The house of cards starts falling apart.
Well, yeah, and as the closers, most of them will say, you know, I don't want to be the guy after the rest of the team goes out there and battles their tail off for 3 hours. I don't want to be the guy who blows up in 5 minutes and ruins everything. Popped up, Moustakas. 2 down as Lonnie Chisenhall in the pinch hit appearance can't get it done. And that's going to leave it up to Kosuke Fukudome here in the bottom of the ninth. It's up high, ball 1. Two balls, no strikes. Taking over the outside corner. The 2-1. Taking. Boy, just did shave the outside corner.
Right on the outside edge, boy. That's a perfect pitch if you're the pitcher.
And now with 2 down and the Tribe down a run, the 2-2 pitch is low, full count. If Fukudome gets aboard, Laporta is next.
Well, let's look at this one. He got the call last time up. That one maybe just a hair low. Good pitch.
And a ground ball to second. Gets. Will throw him out. And the Indians go 1-2-3 and fall in the series finale to Kansas City by a final score of 2-1. A chance to sweep goes by the boards for the Indians, and they fall back to 500 at 65 and 65. Royals are now 55 and 79. Tough luck loser for the Tribe today is Justin Masterson. He's 10 and 8. Bruce Chen gets the win. He's 10 and 5. And Joaquim Soria nails down his 24th save for Kansas City. So it's time now for our play of the game, brought to you by KeyBank. Thanks for making